Okay. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for April 13th, 2020. Q's up about 1%. And then the SPY gonna be down about 1%. So a little bit of divergence here between the Qs and SPY. We saw it right from the open, and that's remained the case all day. We saw a little bit of relative strength last week in the SPY, so perhaps a little bit of sector rotation. I've gotten this question before. How do we identify sector rotation? Yeah, so whether you're looking at the sector ETFs or kind of the variation between the major indices here, you can see that Q's a little bit stronger than the SPY. Now, the good thing is that it doesn't provide us with any kind of divergent picture as far as going into tomorrow. All right, so the bias for both are going to be the same. Sometimes we get divergence, might be a little bit more bearish on one or the other and maybe more neutral on the other or something like that. For tomorrow, it's still going to be pretty clear. Underneath today's low will be the break of the hourly uptrend. And so SPY, a little bit more in danger of that happening. Okay, but underneath today's low, going to be neutral on the market. And then if we get follow through, the next sell setup will be a bearish opportunity. Okay, so a lot of people are looking at this area as a critical area because we're about halfway of the retracement of the most recent leg down. Okay, so a lot of people are kind of looking at this area as significant resistance, as a potential point where the rally is going to have some trouble. So under 271.40 there on the SPY, that's the morning low and will be today's low. Okay, and then the low here on the Qs is going to be 198.75. So if we get underneath that, no longer bullish. Okay, so to be clear, going into tomorrow, still bullish on the Qs and SPY. Okay, but underneath today's low is where we will no longer be bullish. We'll have to see what happens after that. Now, we've been in this situation before, right, where the hourly uptrend broke, we went neutral. If we had broke underneath this base, we would be bearish. Above it, we were bullish, and we've been bullish since then. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for tomorrow. Bullish bias until we break the hourly here. Okay, then we'll be neutral, and if in a downtrend it gets established in the days to come, perhaps because we're starting to get some weakness as companies report, then we will be bearish. Okay, so that is what we will be looking for here. Let me go ahead and remove that. All right, so we'll see what transpires in the days ahead. Very, very exciting. We do have earnings season starting with JPM, the first of the Dow components to report, which is traditionally the kickoff of earnings season. So that'll be happening tonight, and we'll be ready to go for tomorrow morning. Okay, just going to go over the Sabre. This was the favorite gap down this morning. Okay, we had a nice play on it. It was actually James's idea. I was trying to get some plays on it in the morning. Getting filled wasn't the easiest, but I did like this gap down here on the Sabre. All right, for a short opportunity. All right, on this. Okay, and so we set up a nice base here in the morning, and then finally got the breakdown on the Sabre. Let me go back to this morning here. All right, there's the breakdown. A lot easier to see. Now, the first mention of it really was in here on this sell setup. Took some time to get going. So really took some time. So could have played this breakdown as well. My entry was on the sell setup and really had to sit through kind of some of this back and forth here before we got going. Was very, very tempted to kind of kill it here early. Okay, but that's something that kind of always working on, just because I know that's a personal tendency of mine to kind of want to bail on it, even though stop is up here, you know. But the decision was, I like the gap a lot. and the stop was in place. If it didn't work, I was fine with taking a stop on it. Okay, and so the temptation was there to kind of just bail on it. Would have got shaken out and missed the nice move. The runner didn't end up following through though. Did trail it over the hourly bar there on the Sabre. So yeah, fine with the trail, I guess. Ended up moving up a good amount. Didn't get a chance to go over Friday's trade. In a very kind of similar situation, kind of a similar test, whether or not can manage correctly. Now, if I run into an entry bar that was, say, more significant than this bar, I would have trailed. Okay, but we got this base breakout here. Was looking for something like $4. That was the target for the play on NLS. Okay, and initially started to struggle a little bit, and then again, the urge to just say, okay, let's just bail on it here, as it was starting to pull back in. Would have been a deviation of plan, and so let it play out, which was good. Ended up getting to target on the next pop up there. Probably could have managed a little bit better on the back half, as we did get trailed out break even. I typically try to avoid the break even trail. You can see even on this trade and the last trade, going to break even too early, make sure that you don't get any profits there. You just end up with two break even trades that work. So it is something I try to avoid as much as possible. It wasn't a great trail on the NLS, but again, see on the Sabre, got triggered in here. If I go to break even, I'm actually out there, and then I'm missing this next drop here. So if it's a good play, if you're expecting it to continue the trend, sometimes, of course, you will get some plays. If you had trailed break even, you could have avoided a loss. But if that happens too often, then you're probably taking too many plays that weren't going to work anyway. And the break even trail is really just kind of keeping you alive until you kind of adjust and figure out what you should be going after instead. Okay, so yeah, these last couple plays, management, a big factor there on whether or not, I'm going to be able to get in it to target. So I think, good job on that. There will be trades that I mess up the management and that I deviate and it costs me. I know that will happen, but for the most part, the goal is to execute the management plan. All right. So, and that will remain the case as we move forward into earnings season. I hope you're excited. I know a lot of people are been looking forward to it, although it was a really busy March. So, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. Usually by the time this week rolls around, that first week of earnings season, I'm usually overly anxious. So this, I'm just kind of, excited, looking forward to. So Q's closing up here at the highs. SPY going to close still down. We do have the divergence, but the good thing is for both the Q's and the SPY, low of the day is our line in the sand. Okay? All right. Hope you did well today. If not, took it easy. I didn't think there was all that much to go after. All right. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.